Good evening. I hope you all are having a lovely week. As usual, I'm just going to give it a moment or two to to check who's going to come on live. And this week our topic is, do you always have to have the last word? So as usual, if you're watching live, please just pop a comment in the box to let me know that you're there, just so we can make sure that I am live. And as usual, if you are watching the replay, if you can put in the hashtag replay, that would be excellent. And any comments or anything, please feel free to share them, or any knowledge that you have in relation to the subject. Okay, I can see a few people are coming on. So pop in the hashtag replay, and as usual, please like, share, and comment, as I already said. So it's Thursday this week and next week. I know in Ireland the kids go back to school. So I'm wondering how you parents out there feel about that. And okay, so we shall dive in. So this is something that is something that just literally popped into my head yesterday. I think it was when I was out walking with a friend. We were chatting about different things with relationships, and one thing that I have noticed in the past that people have spoken about is when we have a disagreement with our partner, whether you want to call it a disagreement, an argument, a heated debate, whatever it is. And often you would find that possibly someone needs to have the last word, or maybe you're the person that needs to have the last word. Or have you ever actually thought about it? If you think back on a discussion that you would have had with your partner, husband, wife, whatever the case may be, who's the one to kind of stay calm, or who's the one that might escalate the debate and maybe just like walk off in a storm? So there can be different, obviously, reasons for this. One thing would be the person that always wants to have that last word in. Maybe they're feeling insecure for some reason. Again, depending on what the conversation is. And this, for me, I find anyways, I'm definitely not the one that will be doing the loud arguing. I actually, in a relationship, I would be the person that would recoil and actually avoid the subject, because I hate conflict. I always have, and it would be something that I would have avoided hugely in the past. But I know other couples that I would have known over the years, they'd literally have a row every week or every few days. I definitely couldn't. There's definitely no way that would be me. I wouldn't be able to do that. But then that works really, really well for some people. So if you are the person that's like that, you always have to have the last word. Just kind of maybe ask yourself why, or you know that your partner is that. It could be coming from a place of insecurity for whatever reason. Maybe the person doesn't know it themselves. And sometimes in an argument, when things can escalate, people say things that they don't really mean, that aren't factual, that could cause more hurt and upset in the long run. So one thing that I would advise, or to try to do, is, if it's a thing you've had an absolutely blazing row, sometimes it's just good to give the other person some space. It's like when you're at work and somebody says something that you might take offence to, or annoys you, or a friend, doesn't just have to be a partner. Sometimes it's good to just stop before you respond, before you reply to that email. Just calm down. Things often don't seem as bad when you take the time out. and, you know, maybe come back and actually discuss it then, you know, sit down and listen, really, really listen to what the other person is saying and where they're coming from. It's really, really important to try to give the other person the time and the space to reflect. Another thing that I've often heard people say and clients say over the years, that, you know, often if you have a disagreement, I've heard people saying that they've gone a couple of days, a week without actually talking to each other. That couldn't be something I could do either. It just wouldn't sit well with me. I do believe in the thing of literally not going to bed on a row, to try and, okay, you don't have to be all roses in the garden, but at least try to discuss what the problem is, obviously depending on what it is. You know, if it's you didn't load the dishwasher properly, to what could be the worst case, I don't know, you're end up, you know, possibly on the verge of splitting up, whatever it is, you know what I mean. So why does the other person appear that they need to be right all the time? Conflict definitely is a good thing, as long as it's discussed properly and, as said, listen to each other's side of the argument. And if the other person, if you've discussed it and, you know, you're walking away and the discussion is over, often sometimes actually someone wants to continue on the argument. So maybe ask yourself, why is that? Why do you keep pushing buttons, keep pushing, trying to really, really annoy and aggravate the other person? So that would be a good exercise to reflect on for yourself. And at the end of the day, does the problem get resolved, or is it something that you keep going around in circles with? And why would that possibly be? Okay. And if the issue isn't getting resolved, why is that? Is it something that you're bringing? So if something isn't resolved, are you bringing it back up again and again? And why is that? These are kind of questions that I suppose is part of what I'm doing with my own personal development. I do kind of take time out to see, well, what it is that I do in my relationship or in my relationships with friends, whatever the case may be. And I know that I, like I said, definitely for the last 2 decades, I definitely avoid conflict and avoid conversations. And it is, and literally to the point there that I would let someone treat me the way that I shouldn't let them treat me, all to avoid that conversation. So I suppose either spectrum possibly is not good, again depending on what your thoughts and beliefs are. But as I said, it was just something that popped in, so I thought you guys might find it interesting, and let me know what you think. How do you resolve conflict in your, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, it can be a friendship, like I said, it can be a workplace conflict, it can be any of those number of things. So okay, I think that's it for this evening. I hope you got something from that. Again, drop in a replay if you're watching the replay, and I will be back next week. Have a lovely evening. Bye bye.